Okay, looks like we should be live. Yeah. I did slightly change the way the audio is done. So it should be less compressed as a bass. Okay, yeah. I wanted to double check and make sure that I couldn't accidentally leave my mouse over the screen. Sorry for that loud pop. Pretty sure that was actually my some pop associated with my mouth because I'm maybe a bit overhydrated. Or tried to hydrate too quickly. Either one's possible. Something we did do, or I guess I should say something I did do, is went and did a little bit of grinding off screen. We don't have the fragments or anything. Mostly it was just to sell stuff. Oh, I guess during the last one I got additional money, or additional items. I'm going to be keeping the apple, and I'm actually going to be working on raising one of those up. Our current setup's very different from what it used to be. We are much more agility focused. I didn't realize what agility did. One of the big things that agility does is it is the percent chance of extra attack working, extra attack in this case from the Keldalate, as well as sporadic guard. Sporadic guard basically being you get hit, but you're effectively have guard status, defend status. Now there is also defend SP, or recover SP when you defend. I've not really messed around with that. I don't know if that works with sporadic guard. I don't believe so. I would be real surprised if it did. But what we are here for is to check out and see if we can get the varnished bird wing. We can if we sell one more item. In this case, I'm going to sell that other turtle blood. We'll have opportunities to get another one. And this will obviate its reason for being purchased, basically immediately. It's a lot stronger and it provides agility, and as a all-purpose, it is very strong. It probably won't be a Camille item eventually, but it probably is a all-game-long level. We're not necessarily all-game-long, but damn near all-game-long level piece of gear. By comparison, the Fire Emperor sword just sucks. It's stronger, but it sucks as an all-purpose. It sucks as... it's not that good as a actual... And that's why I want the extra attack +1. Because that, which was for a long time something to be worried about, isn't anymore. And if we crit, we can take out the abominable snow monkeys just immediately. Now these Christmas mutts still are potentially dangerous. I say Christmas because they're red and the sprite's green. Their hits can do 7 damage. So really, we should be focusing on them first. Hey, that should have been a wipe. Ooh, that's real good. Their drop... it doesn't fit that well with what we're currently rocking. It is a attack and HP, and it provides fast attack, which just sets you to first attack. It's actually a very strong plus attack. It's 5 by default. I'm looking at the apple because I'm thinking about having that on so that we're leveling it up. The mutts aren't super dangerous. I mean, really now, the snow monkeys aren't either, so... should probably just focus on taking out the most dangerous things, which are going to tend to be whichever mutt is there. All 3 colors of the mutts, or all 3 colors of the dog enemies are just labeled mutts. So. Blue, red, and just the normal one. They all have the same enemy name. Here I'm looking for a few things. I know that there are some paths to the north. I know that there are some holes that I saw before. Didn't investigate because I wasn't strong enough to easily beat the mutts at the time. Now the mutts are not a concern though, so... No, I didn't think that was going to be picked up on mic since it was at arm's length and in an area of low sensitivity for the mic. Sorry about that. I guess opening a soda is just louder than I thought it was. I mean, in this case, it's a canned coffee, but same diff. Actually, is there anything up here? I expect there might be, and again, this is not exactly a dangerous area anymore. When I was initially getting set up to run through here, what I was doing in testing was having a much stronger setup, but I had damage received times 1.5, and even that, just being able to take the mutts out quickly was enough that everything was just in heal-off range. It helped that I think I also had like 50 health, because the setup had more health items. In this case, we don't have that much health, but well, I wasn't expecting being able to purchase the Varnished Birdwing. And right now, the only thing we've run into that's dangerous are the red mutts. So that's real good. I mean, this is not in just, regen range, but... Oh, I can actually show... I don't think we picked up a bushy tail before. Oh no, we did. It's just HP, so... It's nothing special. I'm concerned about the fact that the music peeked into the yellow area there. I think I have you figured out. You're burdened by other people's stories, aren't you? Just like Randolph and Hikukumo. As for your story, I hope that it leads to a happy ending. That gives us another glass fragment. Somewhere in the snowfield there's a lucky white rabbit. If you find it, you will find happiness. I truly believe you will find happiness. Now that is actually talking about a one-time encounter. And it's not that it's like set up to be a you need to find it or you'll never find it. It's a it only spawns once, like that red frog in the transition from the Demon King Castle to the hamlet. And this area is pretty safe. It just has the blue mutts. Blue mutts being, well, they have more health, but I don't think they do any more damage. Also, they move slowly. So I guess maybe they're supposed to be older versions of the same dogs. Yeah, we got a level. We can't get any of the items right now. We do want to eventually get those because it's a recipe more than anything else. And this is the other side of... I don't remember exactly. We got the chest, so I know we went up there. And the levels benefit Fischl mostly just because of the HP right now. We're still at a fairly low max HP pool. I think this might be the room that has the white rabbit encounter. If so, the white rabbit starts on the southwest side-ish. And is real difficult to see for two reasons. The first of which is obvious, it's a white sprite moving against a white background. The second of which is rude as hell. It has 70% transparency? Something like that? I don't think this is actually the area anyway, so... doesn't matter. Lots of dogs here, though. And I'm investigating all around just because I do want to avoid missing anything. Okay, so it looks like for most of these we're going to need to go into a different area. And then traverse back. Okay, let's check out what's in this hole. I'll say as I put my coffee down on an unstable surface and nearly knock it over. Well... I think this is a way back. Indeed it is. And this is the hamlet. So we've not unlocked a new path yet. A new large path, I guess I should say. A new path from the base. we do have a new path back to the hamlet. Oops, I actually meant to be attacking the mutt there since it is... when it's not guarded. Oh! Oh, I guess, somewhere along the lines we got a level for the birdwing and that, that boost in damage is sufficient to make it so that this is not, even they're not a dangerous fight anymore. Or at least not one I need to worry about entering with full health, I guess I should say. Wait a second. I think this might be the room with the rabbit. I mean, obviously I'll need to look around some more. And I could be super easily wrong. Okay, so the blue ones are a little bit more dangerous. No, I think I'm remembering incorrectly. I think it's, slightly different room shape than this. I think that was... oh, Keldalade is now maxed out. Now we do want to get every chest we can. There's a few reasons for that, one of which is actually the achievement system. There are, I want to say it's 263 chests, or what are counted as chests in the game. One of those achievements is locked behind getting 260 of them. Which is, of course, rude as hell. Now, interestingly, I don't think using Fire Wave would actually increase our damage because of the fact that half the time we're doing 2 attacks. It might be an overall increase when we have like a lot of snow monkeys. But the snow monkeys don't do any damage. Oh, there we go, there we go. That's it. I don't know how dangerous it is. Apparently not very. Now, the Lucky Rabbit was worth a lot of experience. The major thing, though, is that it provides item drop rate up and a fair amount of critical. Now, that's actually understating its eventual critical value because unlike most items that grow, it's a 1.2 times multiplier. Lucky Rabbit just has a straight 1x multiplier. Or so it goes from 5 crit to 10 crit to 15 crit to 20 crit. That's a lot of crit. That would put us at over 50 once maxed. But we were also already running into the issue of we don't have enough slots to equip all the good pieces of gear we have. Also, because I'd been getting into frequent fights, I'd not let the Snowfields theme play and to that point. Also, if you don't get the item drop rate up, which I believe is just a straight doubling of the drop rate, does not mean that enemies can drop multiple items, but it does mean that I think the normal drop rate goes from like 7 to 14%. In fighting multiple enemies, I think each one's supposed to raise it by like 5% of the existing rate or 10% of the existing rate. So it's possible to get to very high rates even without the item drop rate up. But it helps provide you with a lot of extra cash that is otherwise kind of difficult to get. Just because you have a lot more stuff to sell. Is this? Yeah, that's the one I was thinking it was. Which means I can go down any of the other ones without worrying about it. That's interesting. Really wasn't expecting to run into a red one down here. Now both of these are dangerous, but they're not near as dangerous as they used to be. Marbled meat's useful. It's just HP, but it's wait, is it? Is it HP and crit? Why? Oh. What? Oh, I was misreading that. I was misreading that as 43. And I was going, why is my remembering a 5 HP item as being good, but it's 15. 15 HP is... it's useful for certain things. I don't like straight HP items, but I probably will need to level at least one specific one for specific drops. Is there? Yeah. My memory as far as where holes are is not great. And hey, another nails. I want to double check each one of these just because, as I mentioned, chests. Now the increased crit is very useful. Just because that combined with a double hit makes us much more likely to one-shot things. So, hey. I don't know what's up with the slight discoloration of certain things here. Oh, hey, this is that that hole we saw. From the mountain with a great view. I mean, we could go in here and drop a save, heal up, and see how much damage that hole causes. But I really don't need to do that to know that it's very likely to be more than I have health. We're not exactly running on a huge amount of health. I don't know what the tufty hair does. Okay, so it's HP and agility. Yeah. Well, upside. The lucky rabbit has already paid for itself. I can show off why the Fire Emperor's sword sucks. And I can buy the kitchen. No, not quite. But I can show off what the notepad does. Oh, and apparently I have more, message speed. Message speed, you can just skip through text. It's kind of worthless. Yeah, and that's just talking about display that comes from that. Oh, we have a new item in the glossary. Although I actually never mentioned the glossary this time around. We have our results so far. Note that there is room for additional characters here, just as there is room for additional characters in the party screen. And that we have missed, well, not missed is the incorrect word. We have not yet found most of the chests in the nest. And we were killed first by very fun times in dropping into a pit that took, I think it was 106 life. We have already heard Mole's story. We are still way far away from that. We don't yet have Hikakumo's second. I don't remember if we stopped at 3 or 4. Oh no, we read this before. 2 of them held hands and climbed the staircase. 2 walked on reminiscing about their past. Playing in the sandbox, catching bugs, playing with birds, looking for treasure that had washed up on the beach. All of these were important memories. The girl talked about her beloved grandfather. When she spoke of her grandfather's illness, the boy looked very sad. She also talked about her brother, who would soon be born. Hearing this, the boy was very happy for her. They were finally able to see the very top of the tower. As they reached the last step, the 2 of them stopped. The girl turned to face the boy. The boy turned to face the girl. Their eyes met, they nodded in unison and took the last step together. Suddenly the boy was blown backwards and tumbled down the stairs. In front of the girl stood a demon. The demon stepped past the girl and stopped in front of the moaning boy. The demon raised his cane high above his head and beat Joel with all his strength. "Stop! Stop!" the girl cried out. "Stop! Please stop!" the girl continued to cry out. The demon, Joel. The demon continued beating Joel. "Stop! Please stop it, Grandpa!" The demon appeared in the visage of the girl's grandfather. Finally, the boy stopped moving. And that leads us into Nana's story 4. Her grandfather was possessed by a demon. The girl didn't get the baby brother she longed for. Even her mother left her behind without any remorse. It was decided that the girl would take over after her grandfather. The girl always listened. She listened to whatever her grandfather said. She was even forced to do many terrible things at the old man's behest. These trying days continued on and on. She began to believe that the days of living happily with her family were nothing but an illusion. Even still, the girl never forgot. There was never a day where she didn't think of the boy. She wanted to see him again, even if only once. She wanted to see his smile again. She wanted to tell him so many things. One day, the girl was completely exhausted as she plopped down on her bed. Then she looked up and noticed something. There was a pigeon on her window with a letter wrapped around its leg. The rocky shore. The girl took the same road as before and made her way to the usual spot. Just as she used to, she grabbed the Demon King Chronicle in one hand and made her way to the meeting spot. Just like in the old days, he was waiting for her next to the rocks. "Hey there, can you believe it's been 17 years? The boy, he gave her the same smile as back then. However, Nana couldn't help but think how much she wanted to apologize for what had happened, and how much she wanted to play together like they used to. "I need your help, Nana. This country is being swept into ruin. There's no food to eat, no clothes to wear, and there are many people with nowhere to live. All of this is the tragedy brought on by the demon possessing your grandfather." The boy had found a cause. He was the leader of an organization. The organization had a special purpose. It was created to stand against her grandfather. The boy was trying to set right the tragic events that had befallen the land. However, the girl knew the truth. In the past, there were many people and organizations that had tried the same thing. All of them were crushed, and so much blood was spilled. One person had both eyes crushed, one person was cut to shreds, one person was set on fire, one person was stoned to death, one person was held over a lit flame for 3 days and nights. One person had his arms and legs ripped apart by 4 horses. I need to strike down the cause of this nightmare, for the sake of everyone following me. The boy hadn't changed even after so long. He spoke with the same clear and pure look in his eyes. The girl thought to herself, he really could be the one to do it. I want to help him, if it could just make up for that time. She made her decision then. She smiled up at him with a bittersweet smile. "Yeah, do your best." The girl then turned around and ran away. I really enjoy the story parts of this. This is still just the same, heading to the mountain where the white dragon lives. I don't think I actually saved, did I? I may have. And how much is... Oh, we got a fair number of additional... Oh, that one would have been while I was grinding. this probably came from the same encounter more than 7 enemies. Survive over 150 battles. What are you? Collect over 500 gold. Unfortunately, clicking on them does not provide you hints as to what they are. Critical up might be useful eventually, but right now it's nothing special. And it also has the issue of, it's one of those, if I was to grab it, I should have grabbed it initially. I think this top? No. I don't remember which one I want to grab there. I also don't remember if there are more achievements than there are skills to grab. I mean, I could look it up. It's an RPG Maker game, so it's not that difficult. Also don't understand those. I will say, I wish there was something like the Llama Llama map system, not lamp system. Wait a second, was that a staircase? I think that's where we came over to where we're standing now. And it's pretty easy to assume that this is nothing, but can't actually interact with anything in here, so it's just another you have to go through. And that's the Rat Slayer. Laudnar's beloved's greatsword. Now it's... I should probably be comparing that to nothing. It's just critical and attack. As a all-purpose, though, it provides a fair amount of skill. So obviously that's going to be useful for, well, probably Randolf. Since we saw that he has a spell that has no HP requirement. So it's easier to use. Okay, so we open those. Is there anything to the north here? Yes, there is. Oh, yeah, that. Looks like there's no passage to the west. So, returning to the east is the only thing we can do right now. Aside from falling down that hole and dying. Because I'm not sure if that hole is the one that I'm thinking it is. But even if it's not, I think there's only one hole in the game that we actually have the health to survive right now. And even that would be a crapshoot. I think it's like 20 to 35-ish damage. 25 to 35-ish. I think what I want to do is over here, but I can't remember how to get over there. Or it might be that we've already done everything we can do over there. pretty low odds for... neither of the first two attacks to have a follow-up. Okay. So I think the only thing that could have leveled up there was the... well... no, it could have been the apple, but I think the varnished birdwing I put on earlier. Oh, actually, most of our gear can still level up. I think in that case it was the birdwing, though. Oh, that's not actually a useful way to get over here. Huh. And I don't think I have been over there because there's still red enemies. Interesting. Okay, so I'm thinking what I actually want to do is go back to the original entrance to the snowfield from the hamlet. And go right further than I did. Should have probably saved, but it's not a big deal. I can just save here. Because I know that on the screen with Nana there was another hole that I did not go down. And I think there... huh. Maybe the red mutts here just respawn fairly quickly. And I'm gonna need to check the audio on this because a fair amount of the music has peaked into the yellow, and I want to see if that sounds fine. I know in a lot of cases music peaking into the yellow is a negative, which is what I'd been trying to avoid with the compressor settings before, but that actually, on music that has a lot of dynamic range, which this music does, had some pretty severe negatives about how it sounded. And I knew that was a possibility, I just wasn't, expecting the first game I ran into that had a lot of dynamic range to be an RPG Maker game. Well, this is the other part of that first one that we were interested in accessing. I know there's a few chests down here. Or it might just be... oh no, it's just a chest and a recipe. Oh, it's not even a recipe. But it is a magic bean. Now, the parchment... sucks. Oh sure, I should be comparing this to without the turtle shell equipped. But the parchment's benefits are too spread out for it to be really useful, and small amounts of skill aren't that much of an impact. So, it is what it is trash. I'm actually kind of surprised we only got 2 items out of that. Yeah, we actually have that equipped, Nana. And I know it's been pretty obvious that Nana is Nana Elewanto. And it's one of those things where it's supposed to be somewhat obvious, but because she's supposed to be having a fairly obvious nickname, but it's not just supposed to be her actual name. That's it, along with a few other things that don't translate well. Are some of my few actual annoyances with this translation. Is, like, I believe the name she was going by in the nest in the Japanese version was Elewanto Nana? Which, having it be as one word, does make it slightly less clear, but I think there was also a probably a bit of wordplay there with using different characters for essentially the same name. Here I'm looking for if there's any holes we can dive down. Or anything hidden. There is an item we will get eventually, I think it's a recipe, called the Twin Tail. And it's really nice because its ability is Escape Dash, and that lets you run really quickly while you have it equipped and are in that pre-combat state. It's actually necessary for one specific area. It's useful a few times, but it is 100% necessary for one area. I'm actually curious. How much damage does Fire Wave do? Okay. Ah. I didn't know it was there, I was just suspicious. I guess I should say, I didn't remember it was there. It just seemed suspicious. Oh, and this is a very good piece of armor. It doesn't seem like it because, of course, we're comparing it to a absolutely fantastic piece of armor. But if we compare it to, like, say, this scaly sequin coat, it's obvious it's pretty good. As a you are all-purpose, it's also pretty good. Leveled up, that would be 6 attack, 4 crit, and 6 agility, all of which are useful. The problem is the apple's currently filling the spot that it would use. And even once we get to the point where we would no longer be using the apple, and the apple is being leveled up for a very specific purpose, just to clarify here. And also to, knock my mic cable to provide some additional noise. We would probably switch over to the nails just for the fast attack once we're done with the apple. The white dress if you are in a normal circumstance, or if you are giving the varnished bird wing to another character, which might end up being the case. Once it's maxed out, I am going to switch armors. Which will of course make this area considerably more dangerous. Actually, I think I am strong enough to not worry about that. How many... Okay, so we haven't picked up any glass fragments. We have a lot of bushy tails, though. That would be enough to purchase some additional... Oh, I just realized. I never showed off what the Fire Emperor sword does. It's just attack and the Crimson Wind skill. I can't remember which one Crimson Wind is. I know one of Crimson and Azure Wind are... One of them is... drop your enemy's attack, and one of them is drop your enemy's defense, but I can't remember which one's which. And here we are already running into... Lucky Rabbit makes you a shit ton of money. Now I have to consider where I want to put that magic bean, though. Because I think the area in the snow field is just glass fragments. Like, there's not like a long-term overall shortage of magic beans. But I think this is the better spot right now. It's not a better spot at the start of the game. Your first one. But I think it's a better spot right now. Yeah, we can't... There's nothing purchasable over here. We don't have near enough for the three-legged frog, which is a very strong piece of armor. Or the Xenogalus or the Claymore Wolf. The Claymore Wolf is essentially just a stronger version of the Fire Emperor sword. So I am going to show it off, but it's not anything special. We could get that rat meat. What I'm coming back here for, though, is this HP recovery. And we can see that there are 2 items over here, Water Boy Resolve and Light Axe. Light Axe is the more important of them. Flame Fang, interestingly, isn't that good. Slap on the Back is interesting. What we're grabbing here, though, is Shout. And we're not going to be making that roast rat recipe. At least not immediately. For a few reasons, one of which is... Actually, I do want to save there real quick. One of which is just that it's an HP item, and I think it's only 7 HP. So even at 3 stars, that would be 11 HP. We can get stronger items than that here. I don't know what it does as a used item. I probably should have looked that up. But I have to imagine it's not that strong. Yeah, I forgot about this this additional save point that we can use. And I am going to exploit something with Randolf. For you see... Oh, I was thinking we could switch characters in here, but we can't. I mean, obviously, want to have him leveling up the Rat Slayer. I'll be right back. I don't remember if I set up my holding scene for this or not. Sorry about that. I felt a severe headache coming on, and I know that if I don't address those quickly, they can progress to migraines for me. Also, we can see that Camille is very overleveled in comparison to Randolph. I think I am going to give her the... just because it will be a better long-term investment for Randolph to have the Varnished Birdwing leveled up. Oh, I didn't realize this gives defense as well. actually considering giving him the hair since he has such a strong defensive item. He's gonna have the apple for now. And I think I'm gonna go with the rune story for the other. But rather than wasting... Oh, and when you have multiple party members, you can change who's out in front. And that gear is not lost. He keeps it equipped. I bet this is awful to look at because of compression. Although the picture I can see up in the corner doesn't look too bad. There are a variety of enemies here. Most of them Camille will probably be the one taking down, really. Oh, I couldn't notice. I didn't see the wisp. I always have trouble with seeing the wisps here. The red enemies are, of course, very dangerous. As I recall, anyway. I mean, they are called knights. But we are going to... Ooh, that's... I actually don't recall if anything here is good. I don't think it's good. I think it all sells for a bit, though. Well, it's everything but defense. Probably actually better than the Ruin story, but... no, I don't think any of those are actually high enough to really change the statistical impact. Also, I just noticed this is getting very close to peaking out, so... That is peaking out. Sorry about that. For some reason, when you erase a... I need to keep in mind the way that the game thing works for OBS. It's not the way I expect it to work. But yeah, I think the dragon wisps are effectively invisible. To make matters worse, they might also just spawn at certain locations. I don't know, I can't see them. The knight's not too bad, provided... don't let him live too long. And yeah, that's a crappy level for Randolf. That's not real surprising. His early levels are just terrible. So we've seen, with a bit of luck, we can one-shot the wisps. Oh, jeez, come on. I don't recall exactly what that thing coming down is. But it appears to have slightly smarter, aggressive AI than, as far as walls and getting around them, than the knights do. Oh, it's not actually aggressive. That's good. I think I know what it is. I think it would basically be like the equivalent of a Yukiana. And lightning has a very, very small area of effect. Yeah, that's a one-time encounter, just... Or at least I'm pretty sure it's a one-time encounter. But it does provide an item with a very useful effect. And yeah, it kind of sucks to lose those stats, but... being able to get a net benefit out of defending. Oh. Now, Chatty Barber is... one of the things it uses is the hair that we already have. It's a very useful item. And if I had been observant, we would actually have 2 hairs right now. I missed one in Leilaria's area. Oh, of course I also didn't ever go back into it on an actual kept thing. So maybe I did see the hair in her area. White Dragon's Breath, I believe, is a HP item, but I think it's a fairly strong one. Yeah, it's 14. Now these are effectively one-time dungeons if you go through them. Once you're finished with them, you can't come back to them. And that's a problem because, of course, there are chests in here. And I'd like to apologize to anyone who's being bugged by the overlay. It's not any better for me. Here we have a nice weapon that is... I really did not realize quite how much of our crit was coming from that. Killed a lot of... Let's unequip both of them real quick. Sagarmatha, which is, I think it's a word that means. Oh no, that's the Nepal word for Mount Everest. Yeah, the Kotalada is just a lot better as an actual weapon because of that big crit, because of that big agility, than it is as an extra, as an all-purpose. But I think I am going to want to level up the Sagarmatha. Just because once we get that leveled up, it'll be much better as an all-purpose for. I don't know why the music stopped. Actually, that's not true. I think I do know why the music stopped. I think the music stopped. Oh, no, I guess I just misremembered. Yeah, that's the boss of this area. I don't know that I've gotten everything. As such, I'm going to head out, which will have the advantage of additional fights for Randolf. And we're getting a lot of those White Dragon's Breaths. Okay, I did. That is just a save. No, I don't. Oh, I'd been not paying attention to those. Those are just, they're like the nails, but they don't have fast attack. Okay, good to know. And I did that because once Randolph leaves, of course, he will get all of his HP and SP back. And what I'm doing here is I'm heading back because I'm not certain that I found everything up in the Dragon Mountains. I'm not certain that the glossary thing will separate it out by that specific dungeon. It might just be included in the mountain. And it's the battle record anyway. No, we got everything in Dragon Mountain. Okay. But I never did grab some of the items in... Oh, wait, no. The other item that I'm thinking of, the other hair, requires us to get through Leilaria's door. It looks like this was being used as the coward's trash heap. And that's just another glass fragment. But combined with the glass fragments from the Dragon Mountain, and that's another bottle. Given that we have 5 full SP restores, and given that most likely we will be getting through the enemy pretty quickly. One of the foreknowledge items I'm using here is the jerky on Randolf and the apple that I'm going to be re-equipping on Camille. Prevent poison. Actually, I probably should have Randolph out front. This is his story. This isn't Camille's story. Once we get up to that area, I'm going to re-equip I think what we have, I keep thinking I can just hit Q or W, which are L or R in this in RPG Maker, to get to the other character. Oh, you can kind of see the wisp. Or at least I could kind of see the wisp there. Which makes that a first. I can only see them when I'm not moving for some reason. Though when I had stopped there, I couldn't actually see it anyway, so... And here I'm waiting just for the regen for a little bit. I'll likely need to use a healing item on one of the characters. Right before the boss fight, but working to minimize that is pretty important. And SP return kind of caps at a fairly small amount. I think even once we have all of the things dedicated to it, it caps out at like 10 SP. So we can't just use SP as we want, unfortunately. Defend to recover SP is very nice, though. Do you believe in dragons? I believe no just has you stepping away. Here it comes. And it looks like, once again, yeah, the audio, even though I messed around with it, it was a lot worse before, but it's still not perfect. And that's why we have the poison protection, because poison in this game is devastating. And there are a few reasons for that. Poison goes off before your character's turn does. Poison can kill. Now the white dragon appears to be focused on using poison gas. I believe that poison gas is basically its only attack. Yeah, because of her speed. If we need healing that's going to go off definitely before the white dragon does, it's her. But that wasn't too bad. And it dropped a dragon scale for us. Me dropping the music there was because I wasn't sure which track was going to pick back up. Okay, so probably actually have it set so I can see my OBS window. My story is over for now. From here on out, I'll fight by your side. Randolf joined the party. So he is a permanent party member. Oh, yeah. This is what we got from that. It's defense. It's a lot of defense. Maxed out, that's going to be 16 defense. Now, I could definitely see the hair being worth it, especially if we dropped the other item to be drop the ruin story for a dragon scale. Because that would be just a whole bunch of defense. But eventually that hair is going to be replaced by having the varnished bird wing in that spot. Oh, how is... It's barely grown at all. And so his message is gone. His copy of Demon King Chronicle is gone. His diary is what was tossed down the river. Aaron, you piece of crap. About the ending to the Demon King Chronicle 2. At the same time as the Demon King Chronicle was being written, a certain incident occurred. A person from the continent appeared in a native village and gave a flower to a woman suffering from painful childbirth. This incident occurred 21 years ago after the large epidemic, and as a result, just like on the continent, flowers on the island had also become a rare sight. This incident is said to have happened on the exact same island where Harold wrote the Demon King Chronicle. I'm very interested in the fact that this incident happened 21 years ago, on this exact same island, and at the exact same time as the creation of the Demon King Chronicle. Using this story to hypothesize the origin of the Demon King Chronicle, I've even guessed at the ending to the final chapter of the story. So if it's not become obvious already, Aaron is a really bad writer. He's really bad at analysis. He's really bad at basically everything. He's redundant as hell. In Demon King Chronicle, what kind of conclusion was Harold Deester trying to lead the story towards? I could talk about this all day. You know he could, because he stole another person's copy of the Demon King Chronicle. And we can sell a whole bunch of these, get some more cash, sell up some of the horns, which are just nails but worse. Now that we don't need the poison effect, we can sell the apples. Honestly, I'm tempted to sell the parchment anyway, but I can't remember if they're used for something. Although if I'm being real on... Whoop. I thought I had my hand on the B equivalent. I don't know what I sold there. Rat whiskers, okay. That's not a big deal. I don't think. I think rat whiskers are just dropped by the red rats. Ferocious rats. It shouldn't be a big deal. Again, if it ends up being an actual issue, I can always just use the debug. I don't have it enabled, so I'd need to go in and enable it. But it's not a big deal. Memory fragment, light axe. Effective target, Randolf. This is like, well, okay, I can't show it off, but it's like lightning on steroids. Now, this is Randolph's equivalent to shout. Unfortunately, the reason shout is good is because yell raises your offensive stats and attacks can hit multiple times. There is no such animal for spells. Looks like there's something ahead. Can you give me a hand? Sure. Okay, so let's figure out what we can do to get 90 attack power. It does not take much. It is really loud. Where exactly did that lead us to? And this makes it neat that we couldn't see the upper part of his portrait before. But what looked like his mouth is actually a part of his neck part. The neck part of his clothing. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter to someone like me who has forsaken the light. My technique has greatly improved. I'd like to challenge him again. If only I could meet him just one more time. Well, I'd prefer not to fight this rat, but it's not a big deal to fight it a few times. Now, I don't know if you could see it, because I wasn't pointing it out. But there was like a piece of gold or something down here. If you truly deem yourself heroes, I will take on the mantle of the Demon King and destroy everything. Interesting. Also, what? Was I missing something, and was there something up there before? Hey, look. Fuck you, Aaron. About the ending to the Demon King Chronicle, incomplete memo. One large mystery is caused by the book's title, as the existence of the Demon King does not come up even once inside the work. Another important piece of the puzzle revolves around its heroes. Chapter 1 has a character named Sarah, Chapter 2 has Ritzia, and Chapter 3 has Randolf. They're real people with striking similarities to the three main characters that appear in each chapter. There are three very famous people on the continent, known as Ares, Eretz, and Flodnar, who could easily be seen as models for the story's heroes. However, at the time when the Demon King Chronicle was written 21 years ago, they were all completely unknown, and no ties can be traced to Harold Deester. This will, of course, come up. But we are nowhere near the point where it will come up. So I don't know why this incredibly obvious fake door isn't opening. This one I'm doing because I know about it. It's mean. Maybe we need to do that first. I don't remember the exact specifics of it. Also, I'm stopping at a few spots because there are small differences in how dark certain spots are. Now, the Alma Moon is Mole's practice weapon. Interesting. Now, we ran into a paper on Alma that said that Alma was one of Zelfi's right-hand men. Now, the only reason I'm not as convinced that Mole is Alma is Mole is also fairly similar to the other right-hand man's name of Mililanus, I think it was. And if I'm being real honest, the Village of Warriors in Sokoden. The Village of Warriors, the characters name their weapons. The men of the village name their weapons after their romantic interests. don't know what I'm doing up here. I mean, nothing really, but... Oh yeah, I was gonna go back up to the snowfields, since we can't go up here yet. Now, there are actually a few areas we can go. Oh, we have a few additional items for the glossary. Snowfield, we've gotten all but 5 of the chests. Hamlet, we are still missing 6. At least one of those is that chest behind that scorpion. I didn't fight the scorpion this time, but the scorpion's just hell. Oh, since we saved, let's take a quick drop down that this passage. It's death. Just for the record, I know it's death, but I want to show off the 100 and something damage it does. Oh, it's even more than I thought it was going to be. Excellent. Yeah, that requires building specifically for that hull. With late game HP only equipment. And getting lucky on the roll. Like when I say some of this stuff is really, really dumb, that's one of the things I'm specifically including. Okay, it looks like switching over to the Sagarmatha hasn't really hurt us damage-wise yet. Which means, of course, that once we are set up for really laying into things with the Sagarmatha in the all-purpose slot, we will be, well, not we, Camille will be a lot stronger both offensively and defensively. And that was a level for, well, I was assuming it was Randolf, but it could have been either one. And here we're actually in a bit of an unfortunate spot, because Light Axe doesn't hit multiple things, neither does Lightning for that matter. So it's a good thing that Randolph has enough defense that these enemies don't matter. Which one's this all? Oh, that's... I've definitely visited quite a few of these, I just don't remember exactly what's behind them. I don't know how to get down into... Oh, I think I know what that area is. I think that's the area that we came from to get to this in the first place. Yeah, we'll eventually want to get a stronger weapon on Randolf, but once he gets a few more levels, it'll show off why I'm not that concerned about getting a better weapon on him. After a handful of awful levels, he eventually gets some decent levels. Okay, so that's just for that. And I mean, even, you know, with that, the only dangerous thing here is that, I'm curious. Yeah. Yeah, Light Axe is very powerful. Somewhat amazed we only got one item there. Yeah, he's still not at the really good levels, but he is getting there. I think that's stacked up tight enough. And proficiency is still useful. Yeah, I think ultimately what I want to do is go back down the area that has the save point. Is that up from here? I think it is. I'm gonna double check this hole real quick. I think it's just an item. Yeah, and over to the left it's just a path with another item, I think. Oh no, this is the path that led to the mountain area. Isn't it? No, it's the path that led to the hole of death. And while I'm trying to avoid super unnecessary combat, it's still important to get into some battles just because that is the only way to increase the level of our gear. Fortunately, it doesn't matter which enemies we're fighting, just that we're fighting. Unfortunately, unlike some of the games that I have complained about the save speed in, this one is very quick, provided you're just using the same spot. Now, I don't think I checked out the left side too much, but I think that's the area with that I was seeing from the area I walked into. Yeah, because this is... Okay. Oh, hey, that's 5% additional crit chance. The Lucky Rabbit's also kind of unique. Not super unique, but it is kind of unique. It has pretty good... that was interesting. Evade and magic defense. Neither of which are stated stats. Just for the record, in case, you know, you're wondering, okay, how the hell does Lauratia know that? It's their stats in that you can see if you open the thing up in RPG Maker. How the fuck do we get to that spot up there? I mean, it's a south-facing exit from north of here. But I'm not aware of another south-facing exit in here. Oh, there we go. So, how do we get up on that? Oh, I'm just blind and a moron. I see. $25 gold, and the twin tail recipe. Yeah, the Lucky Rabbit, especially early, is a good way to start getting ahead on cash. Which, while it seems like your ability to spend cash is fairly limited early on, because it's, you know, limited to the weapons and the armor, there are, as has probably been pretty obvious by the number of doors and number of achievements, there's a lot of money to be spent on improvements there, skills, etc. Hey, I think Randolf had one of his 10 attack levels. I'm thinking aside from one particular item. Well, not one item, one area, that area that we need the magic bean for. I know we have access to another bean, I just can't remember where it is the issue. Yeah, this area. I think we are done. Because there are at least 4 chests up there. 4 chests that I can see. Plus a recipe. Plus a frog enemy. The fuck are you, frog enemy? Aside from static. But I know that there's an area I just can't remember how to get to. I'm sure it'll come to me. And the real way that you were supposed to know about the Alma Moon and the last fragment is, well, at least the Alma Moon kinda had its lighting effect go off while I was walking up to it. And that happens occasionally with the last fragment there as well, but it didn't seem to want to show up. And that wheat is one of the important items for the I don't remember how to get up there. For old Anna's steamed poison bun, something like that. Apparently this castle was once used by the villagers, but as you can see now it's just abandoned ruins. And that gives us another glass fragment. They're no longer really important to us as far as equipment. I was worried for a second walking into it, because there was the distinct possibility, because this is a different area of the Demon King castle, that it could be a stronger enemy. I was under the assumption that was going to be a secret thing, but it's just a walkway. And these are just tutorials. The rewards aren't anything special, but I seem to recall this one being very tight. So you'll want to go up there, but that's a bit of a death trap. Because that thing is too strong for us right now. No name choice wine. Delicious, delicious hobo wine. But this one's fine, just, you know, stay calm. Don't fuck up your inputs. And you have 2 whole extra seconds. Plenty of time. don't know that there's actually anything in here. I just occasionally like rubbing my face on the walls. Okay, so that's death, I'm pretty damn sure. Okay. Yeah, I ain't messing with that one. I'll mess with a single one. Okay. Well. Yep, that's death. Oh wait, no. We might be fine, provided that... Fine, I say. If I'd thought about it, we'd have been fine. So now I just can't take any more damage. That's mostly fine. That was a area where we were a bit out of our element, a bit underleveled for. That was interesting. Oh, and since that's attached to a one-way thing the other way, why did you steal this, Aaron? What purpose does stealing the blue slime thing have? Probably want to actually heal first. Now that did show off one of the positive effects of the energy restore, which is it can revive people. Oh yeah, I should probably want to show off navigating pages when selecting items. we can change our walking graphic. Speeding up battles is almost never that useful. Removing equipment sometimes is, though. Since otherwise you have to go down to the empty spot. We've not run into rice yet. We've not run into a lizard tongue yet. We have hair. It's just equipped. We have not run into scorpion tail yet. I just sold a bushy tail. Damn it. Okay. I don't believe the twin tail is that useful, aside from its effect, but I do want to grab a monkey tail, and then I'll go in and try to grab a I'm actually a little bit surprised that didn't get me one. There we go. That's just covering our bases for extras. I think the bushy tail are just the normal mutts. Okay. And we're doing pretty decent on cash right now. We've gotten a fair amount of bottles. I had to think about where we needed to do that for a sec. Now, the twin tail covers a variety of things, but it's actually pretty decent for Randolf. Not right now, but once we swap the hair out so he no longer has damage received 1 times 1.5. Actually, probably fine to equip him with it now. That provides a bit of HP, some skill, some speed. Also helps with crits. And the Varnished Birdwing will provide the exact same amount of skill as the hair. And once both are bumped up, it will allow... That'll really hurt his SP total, though. Recover SP when defending is a very useful ability, but not when we don't have a lot of SP. Might not be a bad idea to switch him over to an energy restore or, yeah, probably an energy restore. Yeah, I don't have anything stronger than that as far as SP goes. I was thinking it was from the snowfields, but I'm guessing I'm just mistaken on that. That's not the right area. And see, now we're a lot faster when we are in combat. Or about to engage combat, I guess I should say. And Randolph's no longer here to tell us that this area might be a little bit dangerous. As a result of him joining us, we have missed out on... Oh no, those don't stay in the water. What, probably a... Jesus. Bottles worth? Thereabouts? Okay, so let's see how strong the regular enemies are. Yeah, I'd be a lot happier remembering where the path to get to the sands is right now. Because that ain't gonna happen with our current gear. Maybe once Randolph's no longer taking 1.5 times damage, but that would really kill his SP supply. Well, I know one thing we can hit up. It is... It's the hamlet, but I think it's quicker to get to it from this side. Actually thinking about it, I am misremembering. For whatever reason, I wasn't remembering the hamlet being this strict as far as how to enter and exit certain spots. I mean, aside from that scorpion, nothing here is dangerous. And see, I'm interested in something in there. So, once I know that this is this room, I'm gonna drop a save real quick. Because I don't know how dangerous those rats still are. Like, I can make assumptions. I can assume they're still very, very strong. But I really don't know. I meant to only grab one, but... Jesus. Okay, I guess that answers that question. Also, I shouldn't do that. I should leave, and then... because they'll despawn. So, provided I can get one at a time somehow, they're not especially dangerous. I mean, if they were all stacked up in the same spot... Who wants to see me die? Because that's what's going to happen here. Because... at its most stacked up, Light Axe doesn't hit that many. So, that's one of the problems with trying to do that area. Even when you can get them stacked up, they're not stacked up enough. I believe this is a one-time trigger per when you go in here. I think that's not stacked up enough either. that's too many. I thought there was like half that many. Well... There are a ton of books here about Zelfie. These books, they help remind me of my purpose. I threw the ones I finished into that hole, though, so there aren't too many remaining. The Book of Manslang is one of the things I was after. Oh, I don't think I ever, And this is just a regular monkey. Oh, and there's a killer rat up there. But glass fragment, a recipe, a very, very strong recipe, and it's connected to her memory. Now, the achievement thing is his memory. Just, you know, in case you were wondering, should we have access to this? That is Sands of Remembrance. That is the area I was trying to remember how to access. It is the next one here. So when I was talking about cheating my way through that, let it be known that I was not talking about something that's, you know, a huge number of areas down the way. Now, rat fangs, they're not that good. It's not super obvious, but they're not actually decreasing the crit rate. It's just they are. They're attack plus 1 items that provide an attack and 3 agility. That's it. They're certainly easy to get now. Wet stuff are from an enemy in essentially a one-time area, unfortunately. So that's annoying. But we can come in here and sell our rat fangs, which sell for a decent amount. Sell most of our monkey tails. Sell our paw. Sell some apples. Yeah, I think that's good for now. That 3-legged frog is very strong. I'm probably going to pick up Claymore Wolf. Just because ultimately it is a pretty strong weapon. I actually have the stats here somewhere. Yeah, maxed out, it doesn't have any effects on its own as a weapon, but it's 60 attack. Or, Oh, it is awful. It is absolutely awful as a all-purpose. It's 5 attack and 5 skill. Along with providing access to the skill of Crimson Wind. Oh, and I wanted to save. Because there's not a save point right there. Killer rats aren't that big of a deal anymore, but I'd rather not have to redo that. But this isn't actually the access to Sands of Remembrance that I was trying to remember. Just to clarify that one. But I can cheat and get to the area of Sands of Remembrance that I wanted to get to. Because I don't know if it is intentional. But that's not a walkway. Now you can kind of see that it doesn't have the stones on the edge. At least not at the same level as over here. But that is such a tiny thing that it doesn't look right. Oh hey, there's a save and healing. Yeah, we're good on bottles. I don't believe there's too much combat in here. The Zera sword is... Oh, it's a lot like the Caldolade as a all-purpose. But it's worse. I mean, it's trading. It's 11 critical versus 7 critical and 8 agility versus 16 agility. But like as a weapon, the fact that it does not have that innate extra attack +1 just kind of makes it worse, really. I think that's what I'll drop on... Oh, Rat Slayer's maxed out. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to drop on... Well, there's also the consideration of Book of Manslaying. And slow attack would hurt. But... I could drop a nails on him. And probably an energy restore just for the SP. And yeah, that puts him right behind in attack and everything else. Actually, what I'm considering putting on is... Well, you know something? That'd be a good spot for the Zara sword. That way both of them would be set up for physical attacks right now, and provided I don't go into something where I'm out of my depth, like I was against those bison, we would be perfectly fine. Sands of Remembrance, I'm not out of my depth. The fish spot, I'm a little bit out of depth. If you climb to this top of this tower, your dreams are supposed to come true. That's what it says in the Demon King Chronicle anyway. Chapter 1 of the Demon King Chronicle. I don't think we can take that out, just for the record. But because I can't remember the way you're supposed to get to the Sands of Remembrance. But I do know about this cheat. I'm going to use this to get to where you're supposed to be able to get. And the reason that I'm saying that I'm not sure we can take that one out is I think it's a stronger variety of these scorpions. One that summons specifically. Pinchers. What? Oh, okay, it's a decent defensive item. Pinchers. For the record, what I'm being confused at here is I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say pincers. Okay, yeah, that's what we're going to want to do anytime we come across a red scorpion. Going all out will just make the battle survivable. Unless there's two of the fuckers. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So one nice thing about the AI in this game... Okay, so there's nothing up on this plateau. Is that they, generally speaking, are not smart enough to walk around. That's very useful in circumstances like this, where I'm trying to wait out enough regen to grab a single one of those. Because I'm pretty sure multiple is still going to be death. Oh, we got that that maxed out. That's good. Yeah, I think that's a slightly lower... It is a slightly lower attack. About 8 lower. But the significantly higher crit and agility should be worth it. And once Randolf starts getting levels on this, it'll be a very... Oh, you can hit left and right. That's how you get to different characters. I was overthinking it. We'll be in an even better situation. Shit. Maybe they're stacked up. Maybe they're stacked up. So, yeah, I'm not saying I have nothing to fear here. I do need to use Light Axe anytime I run into red scorpions still. But once we have finished with most of this area, we'll be at a power point where that scorpion that was blocking a piece of armor in the hamlet. What's the body? I think the body is defense. No, it's just HP. It's 15 HP. It's the same as the marbled meat. Interesting. Interesting. Huh? Huh? Oh, that's that one. Now I'm hoping for the drop from one of those red scorpions, because I think that's the tail. And I'm definitely glad I waited on fighting red scorpions for a bit. Because getting the gear level up has definitely made it more viable. I'm at the point where I strongly prefer fighting these one at a time just because they hit so hard. But when the fights against the red scorpions go well, the only thing that we might be down is a energy restore. And we can get around that by fighting regular enemies, so. And there doesn't seem to be a meaningful difference between the red, or the normal and the blue. There certainly isn't a difference as far as respawn like I was thinking there was. Is there any reason to go in here? Like, I know sometimes, you know, rooms are just designed as traps. When there are a lot of red enemies in an area, there tends to be a lot of traps, especially if they're not intended to be fought. As weird as that sounds, a lot of times early red enemies are not intended to be fought. They're intended as kind of gatekeeping. Kind of a you don't go here type deal. Shit. Well, we got lucky because it didn't use its dangerous abilities. Nice. We can make that that poison bun now. I have no idea what it does. We're doing fine. I'm surprised that none of those are treasure or anything. Yeah, I wish those were closer together, but it'll only be a bit of damage. Especially since we got a guard. Now in a fight or possibly two, we are going to get a level 4, level 4 Randolf. Yeah, it's still another 10 attack level. Eventually those fall off to like 4 attack levels. But keeping in mind that Camille's levels are 3 attack, you begin to understand why he does eventually have higher attack. So that level actually made a very big difference as to how much damage he does. Kind of a tiny difference with his regular attack. But it's, or with his magic, but it's a huge difference with his regular attack. And it places him solidly in the lead right now for damage, but a lot of that is that Book of Manslaying. Now, because this crosses the area border, yeah. I couldn't tell if it was going to be a that would have... Actually, I don't know if that really would have been dangerous. I actually got very lucky there. I'm surprised I did not get hit by that red scorpion. Now we got 2 of them stacked up, which is unfortunate. But if we get lucky, will not be a big issue. Yeah, we can take one of them out in a single turn. We did get lucky with our drop. This is a fairly obvious secret passage. Samurai Wife Bento and a Black Sesame. Black Sesame is, I believe, a HP item. I think it's like 20 HP. Pretty sure that's our tops. I should stress here. I think it's 20 HP when it's maxed out. Oh no, it's 20 HP right from the get-go. So that's 32 HP when it's maxed out. Is this reversible? It shouldn't be. No. I'm just going to use a lightning on this. And then I'll use an energy restore. Hey, that's actually real nice. That is, once again, a pretty significant increase in his capability. I don't know what those read. Yeah, when I don't know what the red enemy is, I'm going to be hesitant to attack it when I have had quite so much time since the last time I saved. So I think this has helped to make it fairly obvious why I wanted the, what I called the cheaty item from the, that area, the Book of Manslaying. And I think everything's too far away. Because while the slow attack would hurt a lot, and needing to use the nails is unfortunate, they're not that bad of an item if you're already going as a physical attacker. We don't have a lot of items that are really that much stronger, so... And I was looking for it, but still couldn't find the actual way you're supposed to get into the Sands of Remembrance. Oh wait, the save is in the tower. That's right. And it has a heal. Maybe it's on the left, and maybe I was just misremembering. I don't think I was, but... But one nice thing about popping in there is it resets everything out here. That seems like a fairly obvious path to me. One of the village children claims to have seen a rat. I hope they were just seeing things, just the thought scares me. I hope the day doesn't come when we have to leave this refuge behind. And we acquired white sesame. Now, I doubt it is a shortcut, or a path there, but it looks like one. Now, interestingly, Call Friends is probably... well, I mean, aside from a miss, the best result for us. Okay, so that's the way we entered. And probably want to grab another fight real quick. Just to get some more SP regen. And this is where we get dangerous. Okay. I wanted that out of the way so that I can fight this on its own. I thought there was only 2 that had actual access to the starting area. That wouldn't. Since I'm using the light axe, that's not a huge deal. Because that should take it out anyway. The blues aren't a huge deal either. Especially if I can do them one-on-one or get them kind of clustered up. And this is an area you just have to take slow. There's nothing you can really do about it. I remembered that. I still nearly got wiped on my first battle. But yeah, the sandblast is what makes those dangerous. We have a decent amount of healing, so we are going to use at least some of it here. Since we can regen some and there is just a lone normal scorpion here. Gonna grab it and then gonna grab its buddy. Once we've regened a bit. Should be good. And since we can grab these, we should be able to take them out in a single turn. We can grab the glass fragment. And I'm saying that with confidence. Oh, that's even better. Okay, so there's few doors here, and there's that well. Prior areas, wells haven't been entrances. Okay, so we got another piece of parchment. I assume it's used for recipes then. Okay. So here the fighting looks like it's going to be important because I don't see the entrance. Always amazed when neither of our people at above 50% gets a... Where the hell is the entrance to that? Like, I know I always have trouble with these, but I can normally see it after a while, especially in the pre-battle phase. Oh, I think no? Are these actually unenterable? Yeah, that's my best guess. Wait for the red to come to us, and then wait up on it. Annoying, but recoverable. Yeah, basically what happened there was both Camille and the Light Axe rolled low on their damage. Which is real annoying. That should be long enough to be able to use lightning on it. Oh, weird. And I can see that entrance to it. No idea what those frogs are still, thankfully. Is there an enemy here I can... Waiting for the HP regen more than the this piece, since I didn't use Light Axe. Oh hey, Nana. It's very quiet here, isn't it? But for some reason this silence, it makes me feel uneasy. Now she's still got some areas left where we can find her. Like Randolph, we are likely to finish her area before we have found all of them. Damn it, Camille, just step over the damn... Yeah, I hope it's pretty clear that this whole thing can become a bit of a clusterfuck pretty easily. Some interesting luck with enemies not walking into that attack area. Oh, jeez. Since I never showed it off, it is very strong as a all-purpose. Still provides the unfortunate slow attack effect. But it is just a lot stronger as an actual weapon. And since there's not another easy source of extra attack available for Randolf right now. Oh, hey, we're back in this area. I guess we have been away from it a while if the red enemies respawned. Jesus. So, this has mostly gone pretty well. I don't recall exactly how to get back. I think it's go around and go up top. I was incorrect, I see. We need to go through one of the buildings. Doesn't matter which one. Now I'm going to want to wait this out and grab another fight in a second. Okay. Because this is safety on the other side of this passage. As safe as it gets, anyway. And there are no enemies here. We are going to go south out of this. And in case you're wondering if... Oh, you know, I mentioned that it is our RPG Maker. If I created that, well, no, if I was actually looking at the files and messing around with things, I would have known how to get here. Instead of relying on beating a whole bunch of killer rats that are actually still kinda dangerous. So, if we grab both of those stacked on top of each other. Both people should be able to... of course, neither one gets a multi. Now, what are these? Green-horned lizards. Okay, so they have a lot of health, but really they don't do that much damage. Oh, I should check out those pots. I wasn't even thinking about that. Okay, so they can do a lot of damage. Just a regular attack doesn't do a lot of damage. Lizard tail. No, that's not the lizard tongue that we need, unfortunately. Still can't get the Chetty Barber. Useful though it would be. And a quick check. Are those red enemies in the traditional sense? They are. And since they didn't guarantee drop... Okay, I think I see... maybe? I think both these things we have to enter from the back. I don't know if we can actually get back there, though. Or if we can, I have no clue how, because they're blocked by that. Okay. I'm not seeing an entrance on this one. That doesn't mean there's not an entrance on the other one. I ain't seeing it if it is. Did I go up into that one up there? I don't think I did. I think I was averse to exploring this area because I wasn't sure how dangerous the lizards were, the frogs were. Okay, so that's a glass fragment and 50 gold. We're actually getting way up there on gold. Which is real good. Oh, okay. I couldn't remember if we had seen these stairs to get up here. With them mostly not being dangerous unless we, you know, don't get any doubles. I figured it wouldn't be too bad to take out another lizard. Now, this is the way back, right? Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is that a lot of the NPCs you come across in this are basically just sitting in the middle of hell zones. Now, we can't get out to that, any of those, from here. I can't say that for certain. I don't know that there's not another, you know, one of these that you can cheat your way up or down. But I do know that is going to be it for me. Actually, that's not what I wanted. I will be back tomorrow playing some more Iconoclasts, which is the Metroidvania. Otherwise, I will be back with more of this on Thursday. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.